If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that sub button for more amazing content. Now, let's jump straight into the video.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Bofina1, bringing you guys another YouTube video, and today I want to talk about inflation and how it is literally killing the American dream. As we've been seeing, inflation is rising all around us, from the cost of food, gas, and even just your living expenses such as housing when it comes to rent or trying to become a homeowner. As we all know, many people were very much interested, or in some ways afraid right now, in terms of getting a home because they were looking at how high the rates were becoming. And what I mean by rates, I'm referring to interest rates. And they're getting so high and out of control that people are just really not able to afford homes. And a lot of that has to do with, the housing market, inflation of the housing market. Homes are really doubling, tripling the price of what someone bought maybe 10 years ago, a few years ago. And a lot of people are afraid that if they don't get in on a fixed rate right now, that they're in a sense going to miss the opportunity. It's the same thing with the car market right now. People are buying cars in the sense that maybe they don't necessarily have to get right now, but they feel like if they don't get it right now, they're going to miss it. Nonetheless, for example, the average 30-year fixed mortgage week, the rate has now gone up to 5.27%. That might not seem like a lot right now, but let's say you're someone that took out, a mortgage for $500,000 with a 3.11% fixed interest rate. That borrower would owe a monthly principal and interest payment of $2,138, which is huge, However, with the interest rate going up to now 5.27%, that person now their monthly payment jumps to $2,767, which, like I said, that's huge. Now you can start to see how inflation is literally, in some ways, taking the American dream away from people. And regardless what people say, many people want to own a property, whether it's a rental property of their own or a property that they live in, meaning like their own personal property. However, there may be some hope for buyers, as Redfin has reported that 15% of home sellers in April have cut their asking price, which is up 9% from a year ago. And for those of you who don't know, there are quite a few stipulations or regulations that you must need to even be considered for a loan. A lot of it has to do with your debt to income ratio. So that interest rate could really be the difference of you being able to afford a house or not. And with cost of rent continuously going up time and time again, you could end up in a situation where you become trapped in a sense, because, it gets to a point where you are living somewhere and every year, if inflation is going up, your landlord is going to keep increasing rent. And so it gets to a point where rent, as we see now, is almost at the price that it would be to just go get a home somewhere. And so if rent keeps going up and you're a tenant, eventually what may happen is you may get to a point where you end up getting stuck. And that's why a lot of people are feeling this sense of fear of like, hey, I need to lock in on a, 30-year fixed rate mortgage now before it gets out of hand. Me personally, obviously not financial advice, but a lot of people have kind of seen not inflation, but numbers and the rise of things. You look at the stock market, look at the crypto market, look at everything, right? It's all crashed. The housing market is going to essentially do the same. Things can't just keep going up and up and up and up and up. And there's never a cool off period. There's never a crash. There's never nothing. And if we've seen since like really 2020, a lot of things have really been inflated. So we're going to start to see a crash at some point. Not sure when, but we will see it. And that will be, in the house, cars, a lot of stuff, because what's going to happen is it's going to crash because people wages and their raises are not keeping up with inflation. So eventually what will happen is people just will not be able to afford this stuff all around. That's essentially what happens in general. It gets to a point where you cannot afford it. And so it crashes. That's pretty much what happened with a recession, and then it just gets bad from there. But let me know your guys' thoughts about this down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll chat with you later. Peace, Fin Army.